This is Boston Chris with another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show.
Louise here.
Descript.
Featuring all genres and styles of entertainment.
And coming to the ETX ROCKS.
Let's hear it from Louise, please.
From the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond.
Out of the box, ETX ROCKS.
It's awesome.
We keep them coming.
$5, that's pocket change.
Well, hey, y'all, this is Haley McDaniel. Are y'all ready for this?
ETX ROCKS Show is the greatest show of all time, okay?
We are ETX ROCKS.
The ETX ROCKS Show is the best show of all time, say? The other shows, you're good, you're real good. As long as we're around, you'll be second best, say?
Cut.
This is Aubrey Lynn. You're listening to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another brand new episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. I am your host, Boston Chris. And guys, we have a treat for you guys this week. We try to scour the East Texas area for as much talent as we can, as much different forms and styles of entertainment as we can. And we have Mr. Josh Davis in the house this week. He is an Elvis tribute artist from the city of Sulphur Springs, Texas, which is about, I guess, a couple hours northwest of here. And Josh is 24 years old. He's been doing the Elvis thing, but he also does some other folks as well. And we're really excited to have you here on the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that coming from you. It's a pleasure.
No problem, man. So, let's get right into it. First of all, you brought your guitar with us, so you're actually going to perform a song or two for us.
Yes, sir.
And I think you're going to play That's All Right Mama first, right?
Yes, sir.
So you guys check this out. This is a brief video of Josh Davis doing That's All Right Mama.
Well, that's all right, mama. That's all right for you. That's all right, mama. Just any way you do, but that's all right. That's all right. Well, that's all right now, mama. Any way you do. Well, mama, she done told me. Papa done told me too. Son, that gal you fooling with, she ain't no good for you, but that's all right. That's all right. Well, that's all right now, mama. Any way you do. Yeah, 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 2 is 4. I love that woman, but I got to let her go. But that's all right. That's all right. Well, that's all right now, mama. Well, any way you wanna do. All right. Well, I'm leaving town, baby. I'm leaving town for sure. When you want to be bothered with me, hang around your door. But that's all right. That's all right. Well, that's all right now, mama. Any way you wanna do. I got D. I said D. Well, D. Well, that's all right. That's all right. Well, that's all right now, mama. Well, any way you wanna do.
You guys have just been watching That's All Right Mama performed by Josh Davis. You guys make sure you check out this message from our sponsor, Mobile Audio and Video Production. And make sure you're checking them out on Facebook. They're the ones that make all of this possible with all this great video and audio footage. Check it out.
This is important, so grab a pen. We are Mobile Audio and Video Productions, serving East Texas and surrounding areas. We're running a special for electronic press kits, also known as promos or EPKs. For $496 with everything included, we will come to your location, film and record your band's live performance, interview band members, then create a professional package with graphics and effects delivered to you in the digital format of your choice, ready to be uploaded to your band's website, Facebook page, or YouTube channel. The packages we prepare can also be pretty valuable tools to send to venues, booking agents, or promoters, even record labels. You take your band seriously, make sure the world does too. Here's our number, 903-738-3881. Check out mobileaudiolabs.com. Find us on Facebook, Mobile Audio and Video Productions.
And we are back with Josh Davis, all the way from Sulphur Springs, but now you're calling White Oak home, right?
Yes, sir.
So still in East Texas.
Yes, sir.
And I understand that in 2015 you were actually a semi-finalist.
Yes, sir.
And was that the World Championships?
Yes, sir, it was. It was the National World Championship in Memphis, Tennessee for Elvis's Death Week.
Wow. So that's kind of a big deal, and I know that you do a lot of these different contests for.
Yes, sir.
Because I mean, there's a million of them.
Oh yes,
the
they're all over the globe, from even in Japan, you know.
Right.
So every year there's always a Japanese guy in the competition every year.
And I always think that's funny too.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because I mean, they really get into that kind of stuff over there.
They
too.
do.
And I mean, you've played. I know you've played all over the country,
yes, sir.
Especially the southern portion of the United States.
Yes, sir.
But you're still a young guy. You're 24 years old.
Yes, sir. That's how old I am.
So I think the first thing I really got to ask you
Sure.
is, I guess that would put your birth date somewhere around 93.
Yes, sir. 1993, February 23rd is when I was born.
So that's 16 years after Elvis passed away.
Yes,
so
sir.
I've got to know where your passion and your love for this comes from.
Oh, sure. Well, you see, I've always had a love for music growing up. I mean, ever since I was a small boy. And at an early age, I really got into Southern gospel music. You know, like J.D. Sumner and Stamps Quartet, Howard and Vestal Goodman, Bill Gaither, Mark Lowry, all the Gaither vocal band stuff. So I was brought up on gospel music to where really not only did my mom have something to do with that, but my grandmother too, who was big into the Southern gospel field. And then it wasn't until I was about 10 or 11 years old when my father when they said on the radio, this is a guy from Memphis, Tennessee, you know, that y'all may remember, Elvis Presley. And I'm kind of like, who's that? You know, because at a young age, I didn't even know who he was. Right. Until I saw the video Elvis on Tour from like 1972, the big tour he did. Right. And he walked on stage and I was like, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then that's where it kind of hit me. And then I visited a show in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee by the name of Memories Theater, which was a tribute show to where it's like, you know, somebody doing Garth Brooks, somebody doing Dolly Parton, the Judds, and then a good friend of mine to this day, Lou Vudo, who came out as Elvis Presley. I loved, besides the suit he was wearing, I also loved what he did. And I walked out there, and that's when it hit me, and that's where my passion came to do this tribute.
And that's incredible stuff as a young guy, you know. I mean, I was actually born about 10 months before Elvis passed away. So
wow.
I always feel like I missed out on, you know. I mean, for example, I don't know how I would take it to hear a new Elvis song come on the radio.
Exactly.
You know, because I never really got to experience him when he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you can probably relate to that as well.
Oh, yes.
So I think it's awesome that such a young guy is trying to keep that memory alive.
I appreciate that.
So, I mean, so you're grown up with the gospel music, and a lot of the people you mentioned actually performed with Elvis as well.
Yes, sir.
Like
He actually,
Stamps Quartet.
Yes, Stamps Quartet, the Imperials, who worked with him from like 69 till about 71, actually.
Right.
And then, of course, the famous Jordanaires, which everybody knows from way back in the 50s. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end of his life, JD's nephew, Donnie Sumner, actually. Mm-hmm. And actually, my girlfriend's mom is actually a big Donnie Sumner fan. Elvis said, Donnie, why don't you form a group called Voice Incorporated? Which was kind of a spin-off of the Stamps, actually. And they worked with Elvis till the day he died, actually.
So I'm assuming you're 10 or 11 years old and you hear this name, Elvis Presley.
Yes, sir.
You're really kind of turned on by what you're hearing from this
yes, sir.
Huge, larger-than-life character.
Yes, sir.
So if you're anything like me, you're wanting to know everything you can about this guy.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So, I mean, was that instantaneous? It's just like a 10 or 11-year-old?
It was actually. It was actually very interesting. I mean, I didn't know that there was, like, you know, I didn't know he was a movie star until I remember my dad recorded the movie Love Me Tender, which I think that was his first movie. At the time, he was playing a supporting role because Richard Egan and Deborah Paget got the star lead. And that was the first time I saw a Western. And then I was like, wow, I didn't know he could act. And little did I know that he went on to do like 33 films till like 1969 when Change of Habit came out.
Right. And 33 movies in like 9 years.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
Can you imagine what that would be like today?
Man, that'd be a lot.
And one of the most known Hollywood actors at the time, maybe not the best.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have their own opinions of that out there, but I always think, man, imagine the kind of music that could have came out of him if he hadn't gone to Hollywood. And done all that. Because there's that old joke by Eddie Murphy, Elvis would sing about anything in the movie.
Oh yeah, he was. I mean, there's actually some interesting songs.
Yeah.
If you look in those movies, I mean, they had him. I remember in Stay Away Joe, he sung to a bull.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, of all the things for Elvis Presley to sing to, he was singing to a dog in one movie, and then
that was on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah, Ed Sullivan Show too. Actually, Steve Allen actually.
Yeah, it was
actually.
Steve Allen.
It was Steve
That's
Allen.
Right. Yep.
And I remember Elvis referred to that as one of the most ridiculous performances of his entire career.
Right.
And then also in Stay Away Joe and Kissing Cousins, he also did the same thing. And then one of the most funniest ones, I have to agree with Ronnie McDowell, who was Elvis's voice in the movie Elvis for Kurt Russell, playing Elvis Presley. That if I was Elvis, I would say there's no way I'm singing to a shrimp, because he sung about shrimp and girls, girls, girls.
He sure did, and clam bacon.
Oh man, yeah, clam bacon.
Yeah, it was just you remember the song "Dog's Life."
Oh yeah, well, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, just all these kind of crazy songs that came from the movies, and
oh man.
So I mean, when you do your show, I mean, you're doing different eras of Elvis too.
Yes, sir. I do all the eras from when we're doing like an Elvis life story, where we're doing from start to finish. Like this is like more of like a 56 look, actually, Ed Sullivan Show look that I'm in today. We go from the 50s, we go to the Army period, and I have the uniform from GI Blues, which I remember I saw the doll actually from GI a while ago. So I put that on, and then also we do like Blue Hawaii, where he's in the Hawaiian shirt and all that too. We do
What's
that.
your favorite?
Oh my goodness. I have to say my favorite is the 68 Comeback Special.
The black leather.
With the leather. I mean, not only do I feel kind of tough when I put that leather on, but also it's a special moment because you could tell Elvis was so glad to be out of the movie Contracts, and when he walked on there and stood there in the round, in the middle of the stage, you could tell he was just like right at home.
Right.
So I love to tap into that, and then of course the second favorite has to be, the concert, the Jumpsuit Years, and all that too. I got about 10 of these actually.
Wow. So I mean, we were talking off camera earlier. Just keeping up with that wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've got to put a lot of money into that kind of stuff, right?
Yes, sir. I'm not gonna lie to you, actually, on camera, because those suits.
That would be bad.
I have to say that would be bad, actually, but I would have to say those suits can range to about $75,000.
I can imagine.
In just one.
Right.
I mean, if you count like the suit, belt, and cape, which came about in 1972, I mean, the prices will make you fall out of your chair. No fooling.
Right. So, I mean, you are a musician, and you're
Yes, sir.
a heck of a vocalist as well.
Thank you, man.
So, to kind of use your craft to tribute somebody.
Yes, sir.
Instead of being an original act yourself. I mean,
Yes,
do you ever try to, or do you want to be an original act someday? Or,
I would like.
Is this where you want to be?
Right now, I'm enjoying where I'm at right now. I'm very happy doing Elvis Presley. And then, of course, I love doing, like we mentioned earlier, the Buddy Holly,
Yeah, he does like Buddy Holly and Richie Valens. And
I just started doing Jerry Lee Lewis,
Jerry
the
Lee
Killer,
Lewis, And Roy Orbison, you mentioned as
Roy
well.
Orbison, Dean Martin, too. I love kind of taking the glass, and kind of getting the attitude that Dean had. So really right now, I just kind of love staying. Right now, I love being where I'm at right now. I'm still doing Elvis after 10 years now. And then I just like to remain.
So you started at 14.
14 years old. It was 2007 actually, on the day Elvis died, on the anniversary.
Wow.
Is when I started doing Elvis Presley. And then
that's a long time.
It's been a good ride so far.
So I mean, are you still learning? Do you find?
Well, actually, to be fully honest, you learn something new actually about Elvis every single day. I mean, when I first started out, I did learn a lot, and I'm grateful to guys. If I can say their names, I'm grateful to other artists like David Allen. I'm so grateful to him, for the advice he's given me. Frank Worth, shout out to Frank. I call him my big brother, because that's what the Elvis world really has become among the other artists.
That's good.
Frank, who's given me so many good advice on the Elvis jumpsuits, and that's really, to be honest, you really do learn something new about it. I mean, there's even suits Elvis had that I didn't even know. I mean, he even had a pink jumpsuit, and it took a real man to have a pink suit.
Especially back then.
Exactly, back in the day.
Do you find yourself, like, as a tribute artist, do you find yourself really diving into that attention to detail? Like, I mean, like, for example, I know that Elvis always grabbed his mic with his thumb kind of up like that. And, just kind of like minor intricacies like that. Do you try to make sure that those are true to form in your show?
Sir. Yes, sir, as much as possible. And there's actually a reason why Elvis held the mic with the thumb a lot, because really, even as we take a look at the picture here, with the Elvis, that's the way it is, microphone, what it was, the sound actually came up from the bottom of the mic, like this. I'll use my finger for an example, and it came out like that. And so really, if Elvis gripped the mic like that, it would feedback. He'd be cupping out the sound. So that's really why he held it with the thumb as well.
Right.
And plus, there's also certain details like, the turns Elvis made, kind of like that. The way he kind of moved his arms around, like for example, one of my favorite concert eras to do, and it's very rare these days, except for my buddy Jay Dupree, who's one of the Ultimate Champions, who does this era. One of my favorites is 69 Live in Las Vegas, where Elvis had like the karate suit on.
Was that at the International Hotel?
Yes, sir. International Hotel, later to become the Hilton.
Yep.
I love that era because there's so many. I just love the moves. There's more like the karate thing,
stuff,
and the meditating. So I try to tap into that too when I do that era and also the others as well.
And I mean that's why I was asking you that, because you've got 3 decades, 50s, 60s, and 70s,
Yes,
and Elvis
sir.
was a different person in each one of those.
He was.
And he performed differently in
He
each
did.
one of those. So I mean to be in a 56 outfit like you are now,
Yes, sir.
and do a karate move, that wouldn't make sense.
Exactly. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. And there's some guys that way overdo the karate stuff, and all that. But to really do the 50s, there's a lot of leg action, and there's really a lot of action definitely from the feet up.
Right.
And of course, at that time, he was just getting started. And at the time, he was criticized for a lot of that movement from back in the day. But it's just like Elvis said, you can't really help but move to it. Right. So really, if you go from like the 50s, you really have to stay with those moves. There's different guitar movements too as well. Then you get the 68 comeback special to where, there's more of the stance and more into not necessarily like a rebel without a cause, but mainly the way he held the microphone then too,
Right.
which he really just did a full cup on it. And then of course, he did like that and like Guitar Man and Jailhouse Rock. And then the concert years, the era kind of changes with the jumpsuit, because like 69, where Elvis was in the karate two-piece, he was more like in karate, and then really the kicks didn't really come in until like 72
Right.
when he went out on tour.
Right. And we did talk a little bit off camera, and I'm glad we did that. By the way.
Yeah, definitely. Same here.
So you were telling me that there is a difference between being a tribute artist and being a impersonator.
Yes, sir.
So what is the difference?
Oh, I'm very happy to explain that. Actually, I don't mind explaining that. The difference between an impersonator and a tribute artist, an impersonator tries to remain as Elvis Presley all the time, meaning he remains dressed as Elvis, he keeps his hair slicked back as Elvis, and he walks around talking like Elvis all the time. And to that's what really kind of turns people off sometimes, is because, we're not Elvis Presley.
Right.
A tribute artist is really a mix of a tribute and an actor. Kind of like Val Kilmer, who played Batman in the third Batman feature film. A tribute artist, meaning, we're actors paying tribute to Elvis. Meaning, when it comes time for the cameras to roll or the curtains to go up, when we walk through that door or that curtain, for like 2 hours, we're Elvis Presley. To where, we're in character, not only paying tribute to Elvis, but we're also bringing ourselves and making it our own. The way I'm talking to you right now, I'm just talking in my normal voice.
Right.
So when I'm on stage, I talk real low, and of course, I'm talking like Elvis. But once the lights stop, coming on,
comes down,
and the curtain comes down, and we walk off, I'm like, hey, buddy, how you doing? What do you say we go hang out down here at the arcade or something,
Right.
And that's really what we are, is we're really, for like an hour or even just 2 songs, we're the character. But when we come off of that, we're back to our normal selves. And I think that's really what people should be more like, whether paying tribute to Elvis or even Jason Aldean, which my girlfriend is a fanatic on him, because we just watched him before we came here.
We'll try to convert her from that.
Oh, definitely. Definitely,
We got to stay true to traditional country music.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So, you know, as a tribute artist, especially
Yes,
as someone, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Elvis Presley, as I know you are as well.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we're in the Memphis wing of my house. If you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
have been to my house before, you know what this is like. We've never
Yeah.
filmed in this room before.
Yeah,
but
that's the first, you
we've
know.
got stuff everywhere. This is
All
all
over
my
the
mom's
place.
memorabilia.
Oh, yeah.
And so we are huge fans of Elvis, and we're thrilled that you came on the show today.
My pleasure.
And just to pick your brain on
Sure.
a lot of what it's like
I love that.
to show tribute to somebody,
Mhm.
especially when they passed away so long before
Mhm.
you were even thought of. You know?
Right, yeah.
So I mean, 14 years old. I mean, was it just? You know, Mom and Dad, this is what I want to do. I want to pay tribute to
Exactly.
Elvis. That's just a decision you made?
It was a decision I made. And of course, you know, I had the blessing, you know, of God Almighty, you know, the man upstairs, because I really didn't decide I really wanted to be a full tribute artist until I saw another guy who I'm really influenced by the name of Tony Roy, who was a big star over in Europe.
Okay.
And then also worked with Legends in Concert, which is a big tribute show that has Elvis Presley and so forth. When I walked out of his show, and I remember actually, it shows you how God really is in things. Because my family and I, and of course some of them are passed away now, but we were in Branson, Missouri, and Tony Roy came out.
Mm.
And then when I saw him, and I met him afterwards, I was like, you know, that's what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And that's when I said to my parents, I want to actually go in entertainment and portray Elvis Presley. And my dad was like, great, you know, because, you know, I saw Elvis at the Cow Palace back in 57, actually, before he went in the Army. And then, but of course at that time, my mom was kind of like, really, of all people, you want to pay tribute to Elvis? I'm like, well, but then she, you know, gradually went into it, you know, after I first started. But then once she realized that there was more to Elvis than just rhinestones and all that, you know, that he had a love for God and gospel music, then that kind of moved her more into it. And then it was about 2014 when I got a call from Hopkins County's radio DJ, Miss Enola Gay, that she was doing a tribute to Elvis, and she wanted to know if I'd do it. So at 14 years old, I had a jumpsuit. And at the time, I didn't have what I have now today, by God's grace. I just had my guitar. Not necessarily the one you just saw a while ago.
Right.
But that was the very first time. And it was in a steakhouse in Sulphur Springs, actually.
And you're still playing there today?
I'm still there to this day. I'm actually at the Empty Glass Steakhouse first Saturday of every single month on Interstate 30 in Sulphur Springs. And it's always an honor to get to kind of come home. And then it gets to I kind of get to go out on the road and also do this as well.
Right, that's awesome. So, I mean, as a fan of Elvis Presley, not necessarily as a tribute artist, but I'm asking you as a fan.
Okay.
How important to you is it for tribute artists, not just you, but everybody that does this, to keep that music alive? Because, I mean, Elvis has been gone 40 years this year.
40 years, yeah, this year.
And so, I mean, you know, and I know you perform for a lot of kids and charities and things like that.
Yes, sir.
So, in a way, you're kind of teaching a whole new generation about Elvis.
Yes,
so,
sir.
I mean, do you ever kind of think of it in those terms?
I really do, actually. You know, especially some kids that are up and coming, you know, that are getting into the Elvis thing and are starting to become, you know, their own tribute artists as well.
And they do contests for kids, right?
They do. They actually have a youth category, actually.
Yeah.
And it is precious to see ones that are about, like, I mean, there's some of them that are, like, as high as this table to, like, the teenagers going into high school and all that. And but really, as a fan, actually, I think my word of advice to the guys to keep this thing going is to not only stay true to Elvis Presley, but stay true to what Elvis really was, you know, above all the glitz and the glamour, you know. And really, you know, I like to go real deep into Elvis's Christianity, about how he really seeked God in everything. I mean, he actually did more gospel albums than any other artist in the nation, and he won 3 Grammy Awards for gospel music.
It's in the Gospel Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, and he's in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame as well. So my advice to the artists is to not only stay true to themselves, but keep God first in everything, and then also remember, for that split second, you know, you are the character. But remember, when you come off stage, you're yourself.
It's great advice. Very good stuff.
And I think that's what they should do. keep the single going.
And I completely agree with you. I love what you're doing, man. It's really cool. And I mean, are there plans for you to kind of break away from this and be your own artist at some point as well?
Well, I mean, if it's in God's plan for me to break away and be my own artist, you know, God will never steer you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right now I'm enjoying where I'm at right now because evidently I'm still in it for a reason. And actually back in April of 2016, I took a break from the competitions, and so right now I'm enjoying that right now. But hopefully by God's grace, you know, I'll continue to do Elvis, but then if it's meant for me to kind of be my own artist, you know, outside of the Elvis thing, you know, then I'm willing to jump on board on whatever he has planned.
And I mean, you've done a lot of competitions across the country.
A lot of years.
So, I mean, and that's, how do you go from kind of the competition and contest circuit to putting on your own showcase across the country? I mean, what's the difference between them in your mind?
Well, in my mind, the difference is in a competition. You know, you get only one time on stage in a competition. You get like either one song or two, and then some of them you're lucky to get 5 songs. You know, because they're all different. I think the difference between competition and in a show is in competition you have to be focused on the song you're doing, because in a competition, one slip up, boom, you're gone.
You're done.
You're done.
Right.
But in a show, you get to have a lot more fun. To where you're like, oh, okay, this feels good. You know, I don't have to worry about one slip up and boom. In a show, you get to actually be a lot more connected with the audience, and you actually get to be yourself plus your character. And that's really the difference between those two.
That's cool. And, you know, we were talking earlier. I mean, you do a lot of shows at the Gladewater Arbory.
Yes, sir.
And the festivals and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have anything else planned? I heard you had another show coming up in Gladewater soon, right?
I do. I have 2 coming up. July 22nd, I'll be at the Opry Theater in Gladewater doing Elvis, along with some other performers that are just fantastic in their own way. So we'll be there doing their rock and roll show, and then August 25th, I'll be there doing my own show, and it'll be tributes to Buddy, Richie, Jerry Lewis, possibly Dean Martin, and maybe the Man in Black, Johnny Cash, too.
Really?
Maybe. Like I said, I haven't made up my mind yet. You know, that's one character I've always loved to do.
So, I mean, that again, it's not just Elvis. There's a lot of other artists that you're a fan of, and you're trying to incorporate into your show. So, do you always, is there a strategy involved in trying to keep things fresh?
There is, actually. There is, actually, because, you know, back in the day, like in the 1950s, you know, before, you know, the 70s and all that, everybody had their own style of singing. So each character is different. Like Buddy Holly, the glasses, you know, he was kind of dorky acting, so I have to kind of tap into that, you know, when I do Buddy. And then as Roy, you know, Roy was more like the dark glasses, you know, and the seriousness and the voice, so I try to tap into that. And then, of course, you got Jerry Lewis, the Killer, you know, who set a piano on fire to upstage Chuck Berry.
So you play piano as well?
I do. I really play the piano as Jerry Lewis, you know, and I kick the stool back, you know, and, of course, you got the zooming around, you know, on the foot and all that. So I do that. So really, I have to kind of remember for a second. Sometimes I'll forget by accident, but I have to remember that when I come back to the next character, I have to come back to me first before I go into another one.
Yeah, so it's almost like being a ventriloquist.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like a magician ventriloquism kind of combination. So
I guess the last thing I really want to talk about with you is, you know, I really enjoy your live videos on Facebook.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Like I was telling you off camera, the first time I saw Josh on Facebook, again, I'm a huge Elvis fan, so when I became friends with Josh, I saw his Facebook Live, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out. What the heck, you know? And to see this guy perform is just unbelievable. I mean, my first instinct was you were lip syncing.
I remember you telling me that off camera a while ago.
I was like, this guy is lip syncing. And then he started talking into the mic, and I was like, okay, maybe he's not lip syncing. But the one thing I really took notice of with that video is how many unbelievable fans you have
Oh,
that are
thank
so into what you're doing.
Thank
I
you.
think that one video was probably at least 1,000, 1,500 views.
About 1,000, 1,500.
A lot of people commenting and liking, and
Oh, yeah.
so, and from all over the country too, which I think is tremendous.
I think so too. I agree with you.
So I
Appreciate
mean,
that.
what is it like just to kind of build this fan base,
man.
especially being such a young guy?
It's
People looking forward to seeing you in their neighborhood.
It's definitely a blessing, you know, from God. I've been blessed throughout the years, from when I started out in 2007 to where I'm at today, to have a great following of people whenever they can make it to the shows. Some of them can't really travel way out of state and all that, but whenever they can make it, I'm very glad. I'm just blessed, you know, to still have them to this day, and that they really enjoy it. And a lot of them, I mean, I've had people come up to me after the show and say, you know, I remember the day Elvis recorded Suspicious Minds. I remember what I was doing. And even one guy said, I remember I was in my car on my way to pick up my date when Can't Help Falling in Love came over the radio. I mean, and not only do I love that, but I just love hearing the stories on what they were doing whenever Elvis came out. And it's
And
just
so
a blessing.
just these people seeing your show kind of brings them back to those memories.
Oh, yes, sir. It brings back a lot of memories for them.
That's
And I
really
like
cool.
to do that as much as possible.
All right, so we have a surprise for Josh Davis.
Oh,
He didn't know about this, but we
I
play.
didn't know that.
For those of you that have tuned into the ETX Rock Show before, you guys know that we play a game on every single one of our
Oh, my
episodes.
goodness.
And what we're going to play with Josh Davis today is the Would You Rather game. And the way this works
Okay,
is
how would it go?
it's just a Would You Rather app on my phone.
Okay.
And we're going to ask you the first 10 that come up. So I just want you to know that I had nothing to do with what comes up.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So
Oh,
it's
my
going to be
goodness.
completely random. Now, here's how it works. You have to pick one or the other, and it can't
Okay.
be both.
Can't be both.
All right,
One
so
or the
you
other.
ready?
I can do that. I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
so
ready.
this is
Fire
Would
away.
You Rather with Josh Davis.
All right, here we go.
All right, first one. Would
Okay.
you rather have a beer belly or a double chin?
I have to say double chin.
Okay. Would you rather have a friend with really smelly breath or have a friend that farts all the time?
Oh my goodness. I have to say one that has smelly breath.
All right. Number 3, would you rather have world peace or $1 billion?
Oh, I have to say $1 billion. I can buy a lot of jumpsuits with that. I mean, what do you do? You know, they're like
World
art.
peace is not going to happen anyway.
Exactly, you know.
All right, number 4, would you rather wake up with a different face but be the same gender or wake up with a different gender but have the same face?
I have to say wake up with the same face.
All right. Same face but different gender.
Yeah, same
All right.
face.
Number 5, would you rather be mortal on an immortal planet or be immortal on a mortal planet?
Oh my goodness. I have to say the one on the mortal planet.
Okay. Would you rather live without bacon or live without pizza?
Oh, I have to say I'd rather live without bacon.
All right. Good answer.
All right.
But bacon's really good on pizza.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
I'm agreeing on that too, you know.
All right.
but-
Number 7, would you rather lose a limb or lose access to the internet forever?
Oh man, I'd rather lose a limb because I don't think my girlfriend and I couldn't live without the internet because she's on it all the time. I'm telling you.
Well,
Which is good.
she can still have it though.
Yeah,
you just wouldn't be able to.
She can
use it.
still have it. I just wouldn't be able to use it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing because she promotes.
So you'd
it.
rather be an amputee using the internet?
Right.
All right.
You know.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Would you rather be able to morph into anybody you choose or be able to read anybody's mind?
I have to say morph into anybody I choose because actually I would like to be Ryan Pelton for a day.
Really?
I would like to see. I would love to see what goes on in that mind.
All right.
So I have to pick that one. I would love to see what goes on in Ryan's mind.
All right.
Ryan, if you're watching, you know I love you, buddy. You know I'm a fan of yours.
All right. Number 9. Would you rather be able to visit 100 years in the past or be able to visit 100 years in the future?
I have to say I would love to visit 100 years in the past because I would love to see what went on in the 50s.
All right.
I would love to have been in a malt shop.
All right. Last one.
Okay, what's a good one?
Would you rather have one 1,000-year life or have 10 100-year lives?
I'll have to say the 10,000-year lives is what I'm going to have to say.
All right. That wasn't a choice. One 1,000-year life, so you could have one life, but you live to 1,000.
Right.
Or you can have 10 lives where you live to 100 in each life.
I have to say the first one.
All right,
first
1,000
choice.
Year Life.
1,000 Year Life.
Absolutely agree with that. That was Would You Rather with
Yeah.
Josh Davis.
Woo.
Completely PG, thank God.
Yeah, definitely. Thank goodness for that.
So what we've learned is that he would rather be an amputee as long as he can watch Netflix.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Josh Davis, I want to thank you for coming on
Thank
the
you
ETX
again.
Rock
I
Show.
appreciate that.
Let the folks out there know where they can follow along with you.
Oh, yes, sir. I have a website, which is JoshDavisElvis.com.
Okay.
So y'all can check that out. You can also like my fan page, which is, Facebook.com. I think it's /Josh Davis Tribute Artist.
Okay.
And then, of course, I also have a Facebook page of my own. So feel free to, add me as a friend, and also share, my page and all that. And not only that, but, you can also keep up, on where I'm going to be at and all that, too.
Awesome. So that's JoshDavisElvis.com. And, of course, Facebook, Josh Davis Tribute Artist, and he has a personal timeline as well.
Yes, sir.
Where can folks go to book you for a show?
They can go to my website, and then also I have an email address on there as well. And then, of course, the number is 903-619-1532, to where they can call, and of course, on what they want to and on what kind of show they want.
And you play everywhere, right?
We do shows everywhere, and everywhere from here and out of state, too.
All right, awesome.
Hey, it's your boy Ed Boyne. I want to thank you for tuning into the ETX ROCKS Show.
Well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show. Ready, get ready now, go, can't go, it's on you. Step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, but lay off of my blue suede shoes. Well, you can knock me down, step on my face, center my name all over the place. Do anything that you want to do. Honey, lay off of my shoes, now don't you step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, lay off of my blue suede shoes. Well, you can burn my house, seal my car, drink my liquor from an old fruit jar. Do anything that you want to do. Honey, lay off of my shoes, now don't you step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, lay off of my blue suede shoes. Oh, it's a blue suede shoes. Blue suede shoes. Yeah, blue suede shoes, baby. Blue suede shoes. And you can do anything, lay off of my blue suede shoes.
All right, guys, so thank you again for watching another great episode of the ETX Rock Show. If you're following along or watching for the first time, make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ETX Rocks on all three. You can see us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music. If you're listening on iTunes, guys, please rate and review us. That'll help us out a lot. Make sure you're checking out Josh Davis at JoshDavisElvis.com. Follow along with him on Facebook, Josh Davis Tribute Artist. And you can see where he's at and follow along with what he's doing. It's an amazing thing. Like we always say on this show, we want to thank you guys out there for supporting live music. And don't ever forget,
ETX Rocks.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris,
Darren Watson, ETX Rocks.
ETX Rocks, Alan Fox Band.
Hey guys, we're the Morning Madhouse. I'm Carter.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Ginger.
It's the best podcast ever made in all of history.
Hi, this is Paul Bebo, and I ETX Rocks with Boston Chris Barnes. You're gonna love it.
ETX Rocks.
Hey, East Texas, DP here. ETX Rocks.
Hey, East Texas, we're Enduring House, a Christian rock band.
ETX Rocks!
Hey, this is Monty Pittman from ETX Rocks.
Hey, East Texas, Jaden Farnsworth, ETX Rocks.
Hey everybody, I'm David McCarty with the Gypsy Creek Band. As always, ETX Rocks.
Hey guys, this is Chris Colston. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
The ETX ROCKS Show.
The ETX ROCKS Show.
Ho! Hey folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I just want to make sure you support local music.
Hi, East Texas, this is Chris Wayne.
And Crystal Clark with KYKX 1057. ETX Rocks!
Hey, East Texas, we're Lady Chaz and the Tramps. And just remember, ETX Rocks.
Hey, this is Todd Freeman of ETX Rocks with Boston Chris.
Hey, East Texas, I'm Waylon Hicks. And remember, ETX Rocks.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the one and only SP, El Mexicano con Estilo. Make sure to support your local music and ETX rocks.
Hello, we're one way home.
Hey, East Texas, this is Teaser.
Please continue to support local music.
And always remember,
ETX rocks.
Howdy folks, this is Aaron Watson. Support local music and ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Chris Colston, and make sure you support local music and
ETX Rocks.
Hey, this is Hannah Kirby. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy, ho!
Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between. We are ETX Rocks!
Hit the brakes.